everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Wendy. Here are the cards I made today, and I will show you one of them, but you can pretty much cut these out and arrange it however you like. That's the beauty of this card. So here's a couple that I did, and I think this red one right here was one of my favorites, so that's the one I'm going to show you today. I started with a black panel of black cardstock that's 4¼ by 5½. And I'm using these square nesting dies. Now I have two sets of these. I use this one and I keep this one together, and the other one I always take apart so I can have any size square that I want. But I ended up taking every other square, and what I'm going to do is tape them together. I just kind of eyed it up. I didn't really measure so that they're all pretty even there. And I am going to take this and run it through my die cutting machine with several different colors of cardstock. I decided to work on red today, so I'm cutting out a couple of different colors of red here. I'm just going to trim this paper down so I don't have to run the whole thing through my die cutting machine, but this way you'll get several different size squares out of several different kinds of colors, and that way you can mix and match as you're placing them on your cardstock. So just be gentle popping these out because I only have the dies kind of taped together there, and they will fall apart if you're not careful. Don't ask me how I know that. So I'm just gently peeling these off the tape. And I already cut several of these, so I'm just going to add this one to the pile of colors that I have. Here's all the different colors I have that I previously cut. And I just take my panel and I am going to take the largest square that I can find, or I should say the largest square of one of the colors, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of that and just position it onto my cardstock according to the design that I would like to create today. There's so many different ways you can do this. Just use your imagination. This is just me playing, and it happened to work out, and I really liked the result. So I just placed the first one on pretty straight, right in the center, smack dab in the middle of this card. And then with each subsequent one, instead of just placing them inside of each other, I decided this time to just give them a slight twist. So you'll see me do that here. And the biggest thing if you're trying to do this is just make sure that it's even on all four corners. So like if you have just a little overlap on one, try to make it that big on all the other ones. So I'm kind of crooked there, but you won't notice by the time I'm done. So I'm doing the same for all of those. Again, I'm placing the next one down just a little bit off kilter of the last square, all the way until you get down to the smallest of all the squares. I think I had 5 of each of these right now. You can do as many as you want. If you want them even finer, I think that would even look even more cool than what I did here. Oh, I had 6 squares, I counted wrong. Anyways, by the time I got to the middle one, I pretty much had turned the whole thing 90 degrees, so that worked out really well for my sentiment. So before I put the middle one on, I actually took it and stamped my sentiment on it because I wasn't sure it would stamp very clean if I had it on there with all the, like, I thought it would be too bumpy laying over all the other cardstock there. So I took my Misty and just placed it in there, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to stamp in here. I wasn't sure what I wanted this card to say. So I just looked through my stash and found a stamp that actually fit in this square. It says "Let's Celebrate." I just centered it on there, and picking it up with my window, I'm just going to stamp some black ink onto my stamp. And I'm going to close the window and just stamp this. I think I stamped it twice just to make sure it was on there. So then once I finished that and let it dry, I brought it back to my card and made sure it was going to fit and look okay. Sorry, this is a little bit off camera. I'm still trying to adjust where my camera sits while I'm recording. For some reason I like to pull everything down closer to me. Imagine that. So anyway, I'm just lining it up, making sure this is going to look okay, and deciding if I want it to be flat, or I'm thinking I'm going to pop it up on some foam, so that's what I did. I put a piece of foam tape back there. Just going to peel off the back here and then center it back in the middle of my card panel. I think that looks really cute and bold. I don't usually like red, but this one just, I don't know, I loved it. I loved how it turned out. So I wanted to embellish it a little bit, and I had these rainbow sequins I found at the dollar store. So I just grabbed the red package of them and thought I would decorate the front side of this card a little bit. So here's this panel. I just need to pop it onto a card panel and that one's finished. I really like how bright these colors are. Now I have a bunch of these squares left over from all the leftover pieces. So I'm going to show you one more card that you could make with any leftovers that you had. I just took another panel of cardstock and I marked where the center was. And I just took the biggest square first of any of the colors and ran tape runner all over my panel and then just stuck these on. It was kind of therapeutic putting all these together for someone like me who's a little OCD, maybe. And then I just trimmed off the side, and you can actually put the other half of the triangle on the other side of the panel and then just fill in the two other ends. It was really fun. And for this one I just decided to cut out two word dies with their shadows. So I used black and white and just position those on here. I thought that looked really good. I liked the contrast of the black and white against the red. It was so pretty. So I decided to pop up the hello on some foam tape and then just keep the handsome word flat with the card. So I'm working on that here, just peeling off the backing, and I stuck that kind of on the upper half of the card there. And then I just glued the handsome flat. And then I'll pop this up on a card panel, and that's it for this card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, or you could subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Please make comments. I'm happy to hear what other techniques you would have done on this card. Otherwise, have a great day and happy crafting. Bye!